Bailey, my friends call me Protocolin, but you can also call me Filecoin, so you're not that far off in the introduction there. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to talk about just a few highlights over the last week here. But before we do that, our production team has put together just a quick highlight reel of kind of the last couple of days here. So I'm going to throw it to them and introduce that video.
Community members from across the world came together to celebrate the one-year anniversary of Filecoin mainnet launch.
I'm Nancy, one of the co-founders of IPFF News. I came from Shanghai, China.
Welcome to Filecoin Orbit community event for East and Southeast Europe.
If there's data everywhere in every major city, we can help funnel data to those storage providers. We have 17,000 deals on chain as of last week.
3,300 Filecoin storage providers have contributed nearly 12 exabytes of storage capacity.
To be able to store application data, to be able to store data sets.
There's a tremendous amount of innovation happening, right? Because this is a new infrastructure for financial services, for the internet.
So is the first year that the Internet Archive has started uploading parts of the web archive into Filecoin.
Coin is the file and the file is the coin. It's a transubstantiation racket, a crypto economic packet. It's a virtuous virtual state machine, replicated, proven to be obscene.
So from NFTs to Web3 dApps to large data, we're really turned Filecoin into being the place where your Web3 data is stored, persisted, and accessible.
Let me talk a little bit about this thing that is going to make all of this on-chain innovation possible. User programmability had always been part of the roadmap.
Huge kudos to the team who actually did this hyperdrive upgrade less than about 8 months into the network.
Everything that's going on is being persistently stored in a decentralized storage mechanism, like Filecoin. And this is what a hybrid smart contract is.
Over the last 4 days alone, we've had 35 events in 12 countries, 5 continents, and 20,000 or more attendees. And so to the organizations, the individuals that are investing in the Filecoin ecosystem, thank you. This is absolutely just the beginning. That is just incredible. Just an amazing kind of slice up over the last couple of days. I'm told all of the content over the last few days will actually be available sometime this weekend on YouTube. So in case you missed a session, I know there's so much incredible content. Please take a look. Watch out for those. We'll send in an email or a newsletter once it's up there, and everyone can enjoy this content once it's up there. So I was thinking about doing just a quick day 5 recap of some parts of the week and also what happened today. So I'll get right into it. It's obviously impossible to put everything that's happened into the last year in the Filecoin community on one slide, but this is my feeble attempt at doing some of the highlights on one slide in the interest of time. In 12 months, the Filecoin community has built one of the largest data storage networks on the planet, which is absolutely incredible. We're estimating it to be roughly the size of Google Cloud in 2018. They built the least expensive large-scale storage network in the world, less than 1% of the cost of centralized storage today. The community has built the fastest upgrading the blockchain, more than 10xing the available chain bandwidth within 8 months of launch. The community has built an environment where builders can thrive. We have 10,000 developers thriving in hackathons, 250 applications live today, 500 new teams entering the ecosystem. We built the storage network of Web3. Over 7 million NFTs are stored on Filecoin, and we have integrations with about 75% of the largest smart contract blockchains in Web3. And we built over 25 categories of use cases on Filecoin, from NFTs to video to audio to the metaverse to all sorts of new use cases that we're seeing today. And when you think about the next year, I really believe the Filecoin community will catalyze huge innovations, many of which that were presented today. New use cases being enabled by the Filecoin virtual machine and EVM compatibility, scaling chain state and computation on the Filecoin network and improving the retrieval markets, the former of which can enable massive amounts of transactional throughput. Making Filecoin green and enabling Filecoin to be carbon neutral or ideally carbon negative. catalyzing the next 1,000 startups in the ecosystem in the next 12 months, dramatically scaling the valuable data stored on Filecoin. There are actually hundreds of petabytes of data waiting to be stored on Filecoin today. And so I'm so excited to kind of cross the border and store all of that and more. And finally, accelerating the transition from Web 2 to Web 3, enabling large Web 2 clients and applications to adopt Web 3 tech using IPFS and Filecoin. So that's a quick snapshot. When you think about Filecoin Orbit, the last 5 days have just been such a massive success and just an incredible pleasure to see so many different faces in the community present all the amazing work that they've done. Over the last 5 days, we've had 35 events in 12 countries, over 5 continents, and 23,000 attendees and counting. And I'm sure once we post the content online, that'll continue to increase in the hundreds of thousands. We've had community events throughout the week covering topics like developer tooling, protocol improvements, NFTs, green Filecoin, policy, decentralized finance and fintech, the metaverse, Web3 storage, enabling Web2 storage of data sets, the Filecoin retrieval market, and much, much more. And these have all been led with such incredibly passionate and organized community organizers from around the world. These are just a few of the names that have just put their hearts and souls in the last few weeks to make sure that these events have been a massive success. So my heart goes out. Thank you so much for organizing these incredible events. They've been super powerful for the community and have enabled a whole variety of opinions about the Filecoin ecosystem to emerge, which is super healthy. We have just a few pictures from the community events this week. We have some live events in Asia, Greening Filecoin, which was an amazing event a few days ago. We have live coding demonstrations. This has really helped augment technical areas. We had a workshop on building the Filecoin yield curve and decentralized finance on Filecoin, and another one in Europe. We've had a recruiting event, which was awesome. It was actually held in Gather, where folks could interact with each other. We had an amazing meetup in Lagos as well, and a few live events in Asia as well. And just yesterday, we had some amazing keynotes, including Brewster Kahle from the Internet Archive, Sergey from the Chainlink community. We had ZX talked about Hyperdrive. Isaac talked about their Techstars accelerator, focusing on the Filecoin ecosystem. We had Stephen Lee talk about how much progress the Venus implementation has made. And when you go into today, I can't even put together all the amazing bits of information, but I'll start off with the introduction of the Filecoin virtual machine with Raul, which kicked off the day, which really unlocks a whole bunch of different use cases on the Filecoin ecosystem. So I'm super excited for that to come to fruition. Andrew Hill did an awesome presentation called Under the Bridge, which featured a whole bunch of the work that Textile is doing. Jonathan Doughton featured a bunch of amazing work that the Starling Lab has done over the last year, including the Shoah Foundation and the Stanford Engineering Department, putting so many valuable data sets on the Filecoin network. And Ricardo actually, on this bottom right corner, ran a meetup in Italy yesterday, which was absolutely incredible, celebrating the last year of Filecoin. To go on, Alan Ransell did a kind of a synopsis of the Filecoin Green Initiative. The Phil Swan team did a presentation of how some of their dev tools are enabling the metaverse. Angie Lau and the Forecast team ran a live meetup in Hong Kong last night. And so you'll see a few pictures on the right-hand side of the slide there. It was really well attended. And Porsu did an amazing presentation on metaproofs, which was a new primitive that's being implemented into Filecoin next year. Dietrich interviewed Ani from Brave on some of our browser strategy with IPFS and Filecoin. We had, I believe, I'm going to mispronounce this, but I'll give it a shot. Chuklamika, who did a meetup in Lagos yesterday, which was absolutely incredible. Kuba presented on Snap Deals, which is a lightweight way of doing committed capacity sector upgrades. And we had David from Lit Protocol and Renil from Audius come join a panel on music, media, and culture, which really featured a lot of the creatives building on Filecoin. And then finally, we had a number of startups just coming into fruition here that presented their progress really in the last month. So all these startups actually had demo day just a month ago, and they had so much incredible progress to share in the last month that we had A lot to learn from them today. We had Mona present, Convo Spaces, WeatherXM, and CID Gravity, all of which had amazing updates to share since their demo day a few days ago. Now, if you can believe it, day 5 is not the last day of Filecoin Orbit. We have some incredible events tomorrow and on Monday. So I'll preview these right here. Tomorrow, we're doing a Web3 Metaverse Traverse on Filecoin Orbit. This will be an online event. On Saturday, we're also doing a Filecoin Orbit event in Warri, Nigeria. This is led by Charles, which is a super engaged community member in Africa. We have day 3 of Orbit Lagos, which is incredible. And then on October 25th, this is actually during the Wangsheng Blockchain Week, Bytebase is doing an Orbit meetup in the context of that broader conference, which is incredible. So please check out orbit.filecoin.io for details. The fun is not over. Please join some of these events. They're going to be incredible. Great. So I figured I'd just close things with some parting advice. I want to reiterate a few things Juan said in the opener today and add one more of my own. First, to the entire community, make sure you're thinking long-term. We are really building some of the building blocks of Web3 infrastructure, and the decisions that we make today will be embedded into the code for decades to come. Think of some of the early decisions made into the HTTP protocol that really are living with the consequences of some of those decisions, even many, many years later today. And so when you're developing a startup on top of the Filecoin ecosystem, when you're making contributions to the protocol themselves, please force yourself to zoom out 50 years from now and how some of the decisions we make today will impact things in the future. It's also just a great time to get involved because this tidal wave will only get bigger over time. 2, be resilient. For those who've been in the blockchain ecosystem for a while, we know there are ups and downs. We know there are tough challenges that we all need to overcome. So please break through those barriers. Be resilient in kind of our mission to create a better storage layer for the internet. When obstacles come your way, please push through those obstacles in advance of our larger mission. And finally, be ambassadors. We have thousands, if not tens of thousands of folks joining our community every month. And some of them are ready to build their first startup on Filecoin or IPFS. Some of them just want to follow along and be engaged community members. The quality of our community and how we invite and embrace those new community members into our ecosystem, that's going to dictate the culture of what the Filecoin community is for years to come. We're super mission oriented. We're focused on the long term. We're resilient. And those are the principles that I'd love to showcase to new folks coming into our ecosystem. So that's all for today. I really appreciate everyone being engaged and active in discussions all throughout the day, through the tech talks, through the ecosystem presentations, through some of the builders showcasing what they've built on top of Filecoin over the last year. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll sign off for today. Take care.